Hello, in this video I'm going to give you some tips about how you can improve your keyring design ideas. Okay, so hopefully you'll end up with something that's personalized and attractive, colorful like this. Okay, you're not going to copy me exactly though, these are just tips. I want you to imagine first of all we had a design idea that was perhaps a cactus and I wanted to improve that sketch. As you can see, this isn't a great drawing at the moment, it's different thicknesses. We can improve it, can't we? If this was an actual keyring, this bit here is quite thin, it could break. So for example, I would just take my time, I might look at a cactus on the internet and I might just slowly and carefully draw a more improved version. And a good idea would be to draw lightly, yeah? And that way, if I made any mistakes, I could rub them out. So there's a better cactus, for example. I've also remembered that I'm going to want to have a keyring actually on that. So I might also perhaps just put a round section there with a hole. Then I can add my keyring. Colouring is a great idea, and using a pen around the outside to make it stand out is a good idea, but you'd only add pen at the very end when you're completely happy with your drawing. This is a handwriting pen. So don't rush it like I am, take your time. So that hole would be good for putting a keyring through. In terms of colouring, let me just erase the pencil lines I don't want. Of course, stay within the lines. You can press quite hard if you want. Just keep the camera still. But it's all about not having any white left within that drawing. So it ends up looking like that. Now, that's just one example. You can do your own. You might want to add some little details here like spikes of a cactus. So it's all about the quality of improving your drawing and then colouring it nicely. You might have a rectangle idea, and if you're struggling, it's a good idea just to start with a basic rectangle, curve the edges and then personalize it, add some details. So this is the step-by-step process. And by all means, you know, you could take really sweeping corners out of your rectangle so you end up with a personalized design like that. A rectangle is a really good way of starting in 2D and then building up a 3D image. So if I quickly show you now how to do a 3D image, let's start, let's say like this, that 2D image. Let's say I wanted to add the keyring first, okay, like this. To add a keyring, what I would do is just have a big looping line, the best circle you can do, like that, and then it disappears. And then here, same here, keeping that distance the same all the way around. It's not a perfect circle, but then it disappears. Okay? So you wouldn't see it from behind, like that. Okay? Again, I would need to round the corners here, like that. And then I might go over in pen and then erase the sections I don't need. So I could round the corners, and I could also colour that in, couldn't I? To make that look 3D, my tip would be, let's do, for example, the 1 point perspective. I'm going to do a rectangle that's 5 centimeters long and 1 centimeter high, like so. So you start with a square face. If I put a vanishing point up there, and then I do guidelines to my vanishing point, like so. These, of course, are going to be light. Then, remember, about here, I need to draw a line. This line is parallel with that one. Okay? So if these two lines went off, they would never cross. And then where that meets, just go straight down. So that line would be parallel with that. Now that's just a box, but I want to show my keyring in 3D. The idea I had was to curve these edges like so. in that 2D view, it's quite easy to curve, isn't it? It's a bit trickier in 3D. What I would do is take a big sweep there, and then a very tight turn here, like that. Same here, tight turn, and here, the same. That. Once you've done that, you could go straight down from the furthest point to this furthest point out on this curve and go straight down, and then just curve that in. And then here I go straight down, curve that in. I could have another curve here, and then where that all joins up will be what I end up drawing. So it's just a box using the 1-point perspective technique, but I've curved the corners. Now, that was the 2D view. If I wanted to make it a 3D looking view, I might add my hole for the keyring, which is going to be a circle. I might add the keyring part. Remember, one big circle comes underneath and then stops, and then I'd add this line, like so. So I've got my keyring now, and I'm just going to personalize it with my name. So this is tricky. This is straight on here, but I need to do this at an angle. So, you know, I could give myself some faint guidelines going to the vanishing point. And those faint guidelines all going to the vanishing point are going to help me just do my letters at that angle. Not perfect, but you get the idea, don't you? A good idea, again, start lightly in pencil and then you can build it up in more detail later. Once you're happy with that, I would go around the outside more heavily in pencil, or of course you could do it in pen, it's up to you. And then you can colour it in. Colour's really important. And then finally, just erase the guidelines you don't want. Okay, now if you've gone over some of it heavily in pencil, then you can come back later and just reinforce that like so. And you should still see the very faint outline of the original box. Okay, of course I can go over in pen. So my tips are: develop your drawings. Okay, make sure you include a hole for where the keyring will go. It should be one continuous loop all the way around. If you start with a rectangle, then curve your edges like so. And then, like I showed you, start with a rectangular box, add your vanishing point and your guidelines, and then add your colour, your thick and thin lines, your hole, and that will make your design ideas much better. Okay, good luck.